Hello and welcome to another episode of Roach Coach, the new metal podcast you deserve. My name is Lauren Kozlowski. With me, as always, the original Roach writer, Mr. Matt Nas.
Keep it rolling, baby.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, back with you. Back for another episode of Roach Coach. Here with Matt Nas, you are powering through, my friend.
You got to do it for the new metal.
We said new metal waits for no man.
No.
And Matt, you have been out and about and around.
Yep.
You've been doing a lot of work. You've been boots on the ground,
I have been.
which we are going to get to in a moment. But first, we've got to talk about the big event.
The big event.
The big event, Matt. Louisville Loves Nu-Metal.
Oh, yeah.
Louisville Loves Nu-Metal / Louisville Loves Emo. The boys are back. They're doing back-to-back shows. All right? You're saying, Lauren, Matt, when are these shows and when can I go? Good question. December 5th, December 6th, 2025. Headliners Music Hall, Louisville, Kentucky. You're saying, Lauren, Matt, I want more details on this. I've got more details because I sat down with Zach and Brian and we talked about everything to know about this incredible weekend that they have planned for you guys.
Ooh.
So, without further ado, Matt, let's dive into my conversation. Here I am with Zach and Brian of Louisville Loves Nu-Metal, Louisville Loves Emo, and the newly christened LLP events. Gentlemen, welcome back to Roach Coach.
What's up? The one where we accidentally started a company we didn't mean to start.
Yep. We've officially IPO'd, I think, is how that works, right?
I mean, what happens is you get together with your friends, you're having a good old time, and then the next thing you know, you're handing out W-2s and W-9s to everybody. Like, okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, we're a corporation now, everybody. This was fun and games, but
the way you'll know we've made it, the way you'll really know we've made it is when we start handing out NDAs to everyone.
Yeah.
That's when you really hit a level of success.
Just at the show. Just when you walk in, you get your ticket and an NDA.
I mean, based on the stories you were telling me off mic before we started, you might need some NDAs. You might need them.
Yeah, that's fair.
But guys, we're so excited to have you back on the show to talk about these new exciting shows. December 5th and December 6th, 2025 at Headliners Music Hall in beautiful Louisville, Kentucky. Friday night, Louisville Loves Nu-Metal. Saturday night, Louisville Loves Emo. Back-to-back nights.
Yes, sir.
2 nights of wild pits. I'm excited. Before we get into that, though, you guys had a wild fall with the Louder Than Life kickoff show.
Yeah.
By all accounts, an incredible night. I mean, the pictures from it alone, I was like, did 1 million people come? It looked amazing. Talk us through the feelings, how that went.
You know, every time you do one of these shows, I mean, we've done 10 plus 12. I don't know. We've lost count. Every time there's a moment where Zach and I look at each other and we're like, are people going to show up? You know, like, and so this one was particularly nerve-wracking because 4th Street Live is a giant venue. It's a street. Mm-hmm. And so putting a lot of people on a long street is a challenge. And so, you know, we got there early. There was nobody on the street. We set everything up and we're just like hoping, because this was a little different the way we promoted this and stuff because of how it was attached to the festival. So we were just really hoping. And then the show started and people from literally all over the world were on 4th Street Live singing with us. And it was a real blast.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's also the first free show we've ever done. And so which is great. And I'd love to do more free shows because the turnout was awesome. But the flip side is we had no data going into it. So
yeah, no ticket counts.
No idea. Yeah. There's normally with our headliner shows, we get a ticket sale, daily report, and we can kind of track, like, if this many people bought a ticket by this date, we're roughly going to have this many heads in the venue. We've gotten pretty good at that. And 4th Street Live was like, I think there's like 9 people RSVP'd on Facebook. Like, I have no idea how many people are showing up. And fans of the show and or fans of former performers of the show will know that part of our pre-show kind of like pump up coaches, you know, halftime speech that we give is this is going to be one of the best shows of your life. You're going to have so much fun. Like, you're going to be chasing this high forever. And this time around, I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have no idea if anyone's out there. Like, there might be just 30 like bums asking for cigarettes. Like, I just don't know what's going to actually be happening. It's in public. It's free. It's on a street. Like Brian said, it's basically a whole city block. Like, it's 4th Street from Muhammad to Liberty. Yeah. So it's a whole city block, and it's wider than a venue, and it's 5 times longer than a venue. And so I was like, yeah, just play. I was like, if there's 30 people out there, play like there's 3,000, and those 30 people will bring the next 30, and we went out and there was 3,000 people, and we're like, oh, okay, well, that worked.
There you go. You had an Anvil moment. You guys seen the movie Anvil? Yeah. Anvil moment. Incredible. You don't know, and then you walk out and it's a C. So that's beautiful.
It was crazy. And it led to, it was really fun to be able to do something like that with the folks at Danny Wimmer Presents and with 4th Street Live, both big entertainment entities in our town and people that we respect. And we're just glad to be able to bring what we have created out to them, and then to have it go so well. So they took nice care of us at the festival the next couple of days. And we really, we already have plans for 2026. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah. I figured maybe everything would still be tight to the vest, but I'm excited to hear that 2026, there's a lot still going on with you guys and Danny Wimmer. That's very cool. When you were at Louder Than Life, did you get to rub elbows with any big names? Did you see anybody that you were like, oh, hello? And anybody come up to you and go, I've heard about you guys?
So yes, but we were talking about off mic. We were talking about pictures of Corey, our third partner in this endeavor, who's not here. Second to the picture we described off mic, which will stay off mic. The best picture he's ever sent me is one where he was backstage with the bass player from Mudvayne. And the guy's in full paint. But if you zoom in, and they look great together. But if you zoom in between their heads, you can see the security guard who's coming for Corey. And he is coming for Corey. And my immediate reaction, like I looked at it, I was like, that's cool. And then I zoomed in and I was like, oh no. I was like, what happened with that guy? And he's like, yeah, he wasn't happy at all. So that was probably the most fun we had backstage.
Yeah, we met a lot of people. We tried to get Dan from Story of the Year to come to my karaoke bar because he was backstage doing shots with us, and like, yeah, we got to meet Danny. Got to tell him, hey, we were part of that, show, because we work mostly with Doris. Shout out to Doris. She's, our Louisville legend that kind of keeps the festival local. And so, I was 5 seconds away from talking to Sinister Gates, and this other guy just talked to him for like 5 minutes straight. And then right at 4 minutes and 58 seconds, like his manager came and grabbed him. He was like, hey man, we got to go talk to Danny. And they said goodbye. And I was like, well, it's nice to meet you, and the funny thing about it was, one, I didn't realize how beautiful of a man he was. Like I listened to Avenged Sevenfold. I've never seen him he looks like Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen Sinister Gates.
Wow. No, I haven't. No.
Yeah. He's in the wrong profession. But the funny thing was, I actually wanted to talk to him for our friends from Requiem who've played a lot of our shows, because they're huge Avenged Sevenfold fans. And I was going to be like the dad who's like, can you do my son has a disease? Can you give him a video? And it was going to genuinely be for them and not for me. I just thought they'd get a kick out of it if they had a video of him being like, keep up keep rocking Requiem or something like that. But no, we met a lot of cool people. My buddy Joey Sturgis, who's a big rock and metal producer, he came in town for it, and he knows a lot of the bands. He's recorded a lot of the bands that have been on the festival. So I got to meet a lot of his friends. And I will say that I'm similar to how when you play our shows, I think the performers get spoiled about how good of an experience that is, and then future experiences are subpar. I now feel that as like an attendee of festivals where I'm like, what do you mean I can't walk wherever I want and get free drinks and food? Like, this festival sucks. But yeah, that definitely like raised the bar for our experience. And
they really take care of people. I mean, they just run a world class, and you figure they have to, considering the level at which they play and the scale of it all. But they really take care of their people. It's impressive.
Yeah. That's great to hear. I mean, when you consider, the amount of shows they put on every year all over, and the bands that continue to come back, it's clear that it's a good experience. You hear about that as I won't defame anybody else, but there's some other festivals that, you see the coming and going, and you're like, they got some work to do. But the Danny Wimmer ones, they're always locked and loaded, and everybody's having a good time.
And live events at all, like any kind of live event is tricky. Live music events are really tricky, as we know, and doing, what we do on a scale of like times 175 is absolutely, I just can't even put my head around it. So then to not only see it all executed, but then walk around and have like all these people who are doing it just be like the nicest, kindest people who are taking care of everybody. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, I never even met like maybe Corey ran into the one mean security guard, but like I didn't even meet like a security guard who was a jerk. You know what I mean? Like usually they kind of have to be as part of the job.
Mhm.
And like the bouncers were cool, like the cops were cool. Like everyone was like super chill and super nice and super professional. And it was a great experience.
That's wonderful. Now, being at that show, seeing all the bands, what was there anything that you saw there? You were like, a band was performing, they were doing a song, you're like, oh,
Oh yeah.
that's a good one. We got to bring that to our nights.
Yeah. What was the Deftones song that I turned to you? Was it Digital Bath? I don't know what it was. There was something I was like,
Digital Bath is one. Yeah, that would be sick to do. Clay sings that at karaoke a lot, and I'm sure he would kill to do that. Honestly, the biggest thing for me was we've played Bring Me the Horizon at both shows in the past. We've played them at Nu-Metal and at Emo.
Mhm.
And because they're kind of a weird neither both
Mhm.
band, like they're like a pop band too, but like
Yeah.
after seeing their live show was the best of the weekend by far, in my opinion. I'm also a huge fan of theirs, but I just think even if I wasn't, I thought their show was insane. And so seeing them, I was like, we have to, like, Corey likes them a lot too, so he keeps them in the set list. But I was like, we have to keep playing their stuff because it's just the theatrical elements of it that you can pull off. And the other thing that I was just gonna say, the other thing that was really kind of inspiring from watching the band. Okay, here's my hot take. Is it maybe it's a very lukewarm take. The band I was the most surprised that people were super into, but in hindsight, obviously they was 3 Days Grace. Like when they were playing, I was like, we should be playing a 3 Days Grace song at Nu-Metal because even though they're kind of more radio rock than Nu-Metal, like they have some bangers, they have some huge hits, and like I was watching, you watch 100,000 people sing a song, you're like, clearly this is a hit.
Yeah.
You like forget that's a band you kind of like forget about because they might be kind of like in that Creed, Nickelback kind of territory, but
they kind of work a day. Yeah, I mean they just
Yeah.
keep putting out albums with a couple big radio songs on it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. In the same realm as like a Shinedown. So
For sure.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed with them and the crowd response to that, and I was like, maybe we need to sneak them into the set list. So.
Well, we talked about, Bring Me the Horizon. They were that's an interesting segue to talk about kind of what is happening to our shows. Because when we started our shows, we were very much committed to the time period that was basically when Zach and I were in high school and college, which is like,
Right.
2000 to 2005 or whatever. Yeah. I mean, it was, again, this all started as me and Zach hanging out doing something silly. So like that would like, of course, when you're with your buddy, you're like, yeah, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And it worked. And so then we kind of kept repeating that. And we got to about show 4 where Bring Me the Horizon came up as kind of this bridge band into what can we get away with the genre and with the attendees. And what we're finding is that emo's like fully back. So like it's emo and Nu-Metal both. Nu-Metal never really left. It just kind of receded a little bit.
We've been saying it.
Yeah.
It's not a phase, Dad. That's the Nu-Metal version of it or something.
I do think that emo did recede. I mean, there is there's this excellent book called Where Are Your Boys Tonight? The author's name is slipping my mind, but it's an oral history of emo. And they talk, there's this whole section about how in about 07, 08, everyone just kind of backed away like it was a hot potato, And from that term, they didn't want to be around it, blah, 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 right? Well, Bring Me the Horizon was there that was kind of their rise. They were coming out of that, and then they built their thing now, which to Zach's point, they're basically a pop band in a lot of ways. And so this was like the bridge. It was like, does the audience love Bring Me the Horizon? And we did Can You Feel My Heart that first year that we tried it, and it was like the highlight of the night. And we were like, well, we can never go back. And so, but that's allowed us room to play. And so we've been able to do so at Louisville Loves Louder Than Life. We did Sleep Token, And that was the great thing about that is masks create this fun opportunity for people to not be 100% sure the real guy's not on stage. So when one of our guys was in a Sleep Token mask, it caused a little bit of a fury in the front 2 rows. It was really fun.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, there you go. He should, you know what? I mean, if you really want to throw him off, we lose Zach for a minute there. Yeah, I was gonna say though, yeah, if you really want them to really be guessing, then you definitely want to have them get like a Steam Deck or something, and then have them
Well,
play that, because then they'll be like, "Is it Sleep Token?"
we could do all masked bands in nu metal. You know, like if you expand it a little bit, you've got Mudvayne, you've got you've got Slipknot, of course. You just put everybody in masks. Nobody's going to know the difference. We can charge even more for our shows.
Yeah, a mask night is not a bad idea at all.
Pretty
Not
fun.
a bad idea.
We talked about that back when Zach had the karaoke bar. Wasn't that one of the theme nights we talked about? Like men in masks was one of the things we were going to do as a karaoke theme.
So yeah, so a mask night would be very, very cool. Something to consider, something to think about. So let's talk about, so it's 2 nights. Friday night, Louisville Loves Nu-Metal. Saturday night, Louisville Loves Emo. Let's just talk about it. Friday night, it's gonna be a hot night. You're gonna be there, Zach. Brian, you're gonna be there. I
was going to say, I have an announcement to make. I am not going to be the MC that night. I typically am the MC of these shows. I have decided to not be the MC that night.
Yeah. Brian, the announcement is that you have asked me to host, and I am so honored to do this. I'm excited.
Chugga choo choo. Is that what the coach? Is that the
chugga choo choo? A plethora of reasons, but honestly, one of them is probably the main one is that you guys have just been so kind to us and supportive from the very beginning of the nu-metal experiment. And I don't feel as much ownership on the nu-metal stuff because emo was the thing that we built, and that was always the thing that I was hosting and that I was there. So I was hosting the nu-metal stuff. But you guys have been a huge part of it since that first show. And it just makes sense to me to have a nu-metal personality like yourself who's talking about it every single week with an audience to actually be the face on stage that's bringing things around and keeping people on their toes. So I'm really excited to hand you the mic. I'll just be backstage running around. I'll get to enjoy the show a little bit more, and then I'll save my voice for Saturday night. But welcome to it, dude. We're thrilled to have you.
Yeah, we're very excited.
I'm very excited. This is kind of I've told a few people, and they're just like, "Of course, you are hosting a nu-metal night. Of course you are, sir." I'm like, "I know, it's so exciting." So yeah, so I'm really hyped. I'm really hyped to see what the set lists are going to be. I'm excited to see who's going to be there. I'm excited to see what this pit's going to do. I'm always looking to see what this pit's going to do. So yeah, I mean, now I don't remember the exact count. Is this the 4th nu-metal night overall or 5th?
Overall, technically, yeah.
If you count Louisville Loves Louder Than Life as a nu-metal night, this is where it gets.
Well, no, that would be 5 because we did deep cuts.
Oh, we did deep cuts. Yeah.
We're calling this Louisville Loves Nu-Metal 3.
Okay.
But we had a deep cut night, so call that 2.5.
All right. Okay.
And then Louisville Loves Louder Than Life was like rock, emo, and metal. So it was like the hodgepodge hybrid show.
Okay.
So
it's 3rd, 4th, or 5th, depending on your perspective.
Depending on how you count.
Emo shows are like this too, because we did one out of town, and so it depends on who's counting as to which emo show we're on.
And then we did the 3 Cheers tribute.
Yeah.
We don't. Right. You're not supposed to really count your chickens or your concerts, apparently.
When I said I'd lost count, I wasn't kidding. I have no idea how many shows Zach and I have done together at this point.
Guys, this is actually perfect because we talk a lot on the show about nu-metal math and how it doesn't always add up all the time. So the fact that no one knows how many nu-metal nights really there have been, this is perfect. It's just right in line. With be it 3, 5, 10, however many, what are you doing as programmers to keep it fresh? So when people roll in, they're not thinking this is just 2 over again. I've seen this show before. What are we doing? What are you thinking? Obviously putting me in as host, big move.
Yes,
what else are you doing?
That was move number 1.
Probably the only improvement we've made.
Set list exactly the same. Well, it's funny that you asked this question because there is an economy of scale when you're doing this, right? And Zach and I talk about this all the time. We really talked about it in the early days. It's like, at what point is this just a hobby where we go and learn 30 new songs every year? and at what point do you run out of songs people actually want to hear when they really would rather hear the big hit? But how do you also keep it fresh? And that's always something we're looking at. One thing that was a huge improvement was bringing in Corey as music director, because he is just, first of all, especially on nu-metal, he's very, very tuned into that genre. He obviously played in the Clear, and he's been a part of those scenes. And he's very good at kind of picking, okay, from a musician's perspective, what is going to be fun to play, but also something we can accomplish and something that will play really well in the audience. And so we lean a lot into him in terms of pulling some of that. And this is actually probably the most hands-off that Zach and I mean, we definitely have seen the set and we have worked on the sets together, but I would say this is probably the most hands-off we've been because of that trust. And so I know he is always looking for how do we make a medley here? How do we put a surprise song in the middle of something that nobody's going to see? How do we do on one of the nights? It's actually not nu-metal, but on one of the nights, there's just going to be a wild card song in the middle of the night. I was looking at the set list today and I was like, oh, we're going to do that. So, but it's all in service of that. How do you make this a memorable night that is, and part of what Zach and I talk about all the time is like, how do you make it a memorable night that's not just another band at a bar, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to make it an experience that feels like, oh my God, were you there for that? And not just, oh, cool, they're playing that one song that, I hear all the time.
Now, candidly, Lauren, it's a challenge and it's not easy. And if you or your viewers have suggestions on how we can take this thing to the next level, we're open to it. I know that fire is something that we talk a lot about. We haven't had any pyro in our shows yet. We got really close at 4th Street because it's technically an open air venue. And so we got really close to having pyro there. We've had cheerleaders before.
Were you there for the cheerleaders, Lauren?
I missed the cheerleaders one. I heard about the next day and I saw the videos and I was like, I blew it. Should have been there. That looked incredible. But the balloon drops have been impressive. I had this later down in the questions, but we'll bump it up to now. Hunter's gonna be there.
Uh-oh.
Is he doing any backflips? Is that planned? We know he loves a backflip.
Did you see the video of Louder Than Life?
Yes, I did see that one. That one is one of those like one of one. You can't believe it, And I mean, credit to him because he could have hit that moment, and then going like, I can't believe it hit the moment, but he kept moving.
He kept going.
He kept going.
What was crazy is I was up above him taking pictures, and I caught him in the air, just on my phone. But it's amazing because you can zoom in because you just look like it's like, oh, look, the band's down there and look at that big crowd. And then you zoom in and the dude is just in the air.
Upside down.
Upside down.
So he did that at the first nu-metal show in the middle of Bulls on Parade. And the funny thing is the video of it, you can see there's like way too many vocalists on stage because everyone wants to sing Rage. Mm-hmm. And he's like pushing Clay and then he's pushing Mike Mullins, who's like the size of a professional wrestler. And he's like, get out of the way. And he just does it and like lands it and grabs the mic and is like, fuck you, I won't do what you told. Like perfect timing. And so ever since then, I'm always like, are you going to do a backflip at this show? And then he was like injured at one of our other shows. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it this one. But what's so funny about the Louder backflip that he did was he goes, y'all want to see a backflip? And then just does it. And me being kind of like the nerd that I am was like, what if they all said no in unison? Like, obviously that like no one probably even heard what he said because there's like so much going on. But
that's
it's like, don't ask for crowd approval.
Between being the producer and the performer, you're like, wait a second, this could go terribly wrong, as opposed to getting caught up in the moment and pulling it off.
Yeah. So no, it was super cool, and he used to be a cheerleader, so that's kind of the like inside baseball. If
I was
going to
say that's the part we probably need to clue people in on is he was a collegiate cheerleader, so he has really worked for this.
Okay, then he's been flipping his whole life then. Okay, all right.
But it never gets less cool, and so the real question is, how do we have him teach the three of us so that we can do our unison old man non-cheerleader backflips together?
I was going to say, Lauren, this is actually in the contract that we're going to send over for your hosting. You've got to do a stupid human trick at least. If it's not a backflip, it's got to be milk out of the eyeballs or something.
Okay, listen,
balloon animals.
Nothing my aging feet would love more than to do a backflip and just see what happens. All right. I literally fractured my heel just from walking around New York City in Vans.
Yeah.
And I went to my doctor. I said, what did I do? And she said, you're in your 40s and you wore Vans around New York City for a weekend, you idiot.
Yep.
So there you go. So let's do a couple.
And that's the level of energy and enthusiasm he plans to bring to the stage.
That's right. I'm gonna walk out
December 5th.
I'm gonna walk out and be like, I'm a little old, everybody, but it's okay. I'm expecting you to pick up the slack in the pit.
Yeah. You just stand there with a cane and poke the pit and try to get it to start.
I'm just come on. It's freedom. You can move a little faster.
Yeah.
So the nu-metal night, are we looking at a lot of familiar faces? Any new people we're bringing in?
Both. Yep.
Huge response. So we open up applications for this.
Yeah.
We want, I mean, the whole idea has always been like join the party. But the problem is we're to a point now where so many people want to be involved in it that we can't have every single person.
Mhm.
But we had a lot of applications. And so yeah, we've got some new faces and some new people. And then we've got some folks who have been old faithful standbys who can help us carry the weight and make sure that we deliver a really excellent show. Because, I mean, there's only so much you can tell from a YouTube video or an MP3 that someone sends you. You don't know what they're going to be like on stage. You don't know what they're going to be like to work with. And so this is like most endeavors, this is a lot of balancing, right? And so not only are we balancing the set list, we're also balancing of like, hey, we want to get the best quality, but we also want to involve as many people as possible and bring new voices and faces and different types of people, not just a couple of white dudes, running around. And so we're always looking for opportunities to do that. It's an important part of the show, and it has been since the beginning, but there's that balance that we're doing. The thing is, we so far, knock on something, we have been really lucky. Like no duds. Like anytime people come in, we are always pleasantly surprised, and usually they stick around and come back for more shows. So
yeah. If anything, like Brian said, it's gotten to the point now where as we're trying to improve the quality of the show, it's not about like who are the best people that we can get. It's like of the best people that we can get, like who can do these specific things, or who have we not given stuff to, or who have we given a lot of stuff to. Like there's people who have done 6 of our shows and they haven't done the other 6, and they're like mad that they haven't done the other 6. And I'm like, there's people who have done 0. Like we have a pretty long queue of people that have been begging or asking or offering to do the show. And yeah, so it's hard because I mean, even myself, you asked me before the call, like how much am I playing in nu-metal, and I'm playing one song the whole night, and I'm not singing anything. I'm literally just playing bass on one song, which I am very excited about. That song I told you off camera. I think it's going to be a set surprise, so much that I didn't even want to tell you what it was, but
I'm excited.
I did say that Corey's singing it and I'm playing bass. So
what? It could be. What could
it could be anything.
Speculate in the comments.
Yeah, speculate in the comments, right? But yeah. So, and I'm playing a set during the emo show, and I'm not even playing the whole set. Like I gave up a couple songs to some people on guitar, largely because I'm also doing all this organizing stuff. But again, that's a way to like spread the love and keep kind of the community vibe. And like Brian said, it's not even just about what songs would you hear at your local bar, but at your local bar you're going to see maybe 4 or 5 piece bands that are really good, but like there is something about this kind of 30-person circus concept that we've come up with that just is different. It stays fresh the whole time, and you usually get the best of both worlds, or you get weird combinations that you wouldn't imagine. One we always like to reference is Carly Johnson singing Weezer essentially as like a soul song, singing Say It Ain't So. And like we didn't really see that coming. We did that at an emo night, and that's like my whole hot take about the fact that Weezer's emo. But yeah, like that was awesome. And if we had not invited someone kind of outside of our scene or outside of our genre into that, we would have never gotten that like unique experience, right? So it's hard. But to Brian's point, like 30 people's hard to manage, 40's harder, right? So sometimes we have to cut down the roster.
Well, and the other thing that is cool about having a big roster though is that there are certain things we can do at a level that nobody could pull off at a random bar night, because we have singers who can do certain things, right? And they do one certain thing really, 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 really well. Yeah. For instance, Ryan Mitchell, who's done a lot of our shows for several years, a lot of our emo shows specifically, has a very high vocal range and can do Kellen Quinn from Sleeping with Sirens like almost perfectly. And so it allows us to do some stuff that like normally we probably wouldn't attempt doing some of that stuff because the vocals were so crazy. I mean, Kevin Fletcher is another one who does it almost spot on perfect. Bert from The Used. So anytime we do The Used, it's like, oh my God, I think Bert's here because he sounds just like him. And so when we can plug those things in, and then also on the flip side, do things that don't sound like the original song at all, and have a female do Rage Against the Machine, maybe. Who knows? I'm just saying, there's like all sorts of ways to play with the genre and keep it surprising and like give you the stuff that you're like, oh, that's so satisfying because it sounds like that thing. And then the next song show you something that blows your mind because it's totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I've always loved about your shows is the element of surprise that you don't know what's going to happen next. Because I can tell you that nothing drives me crazier than being at a show and seeing someone in front of me pull their phone out, and of course it's at max level of brightness, and they're on setlist.fm, and I'm like, what do you wait? What's your problem?
Yeah.
Let it happen. Let it happen. And with your shows, it's like you can't predict. You don't know what's going to happen next.
That's
And
the
it's so
concert
great.
equivalent of someone at a movie leaning next to you, be like, "Oh, this is a good part. This is where you find out it's his dad the whole time."
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, "Are you serious? I'm trying to enjoy the movie." Like,
Yeah. No, yeah. I was, when I went to see Deftones in March, this guy in front of me in a Godsmack shirt just kept pulling his phone out and showing it to his buddy. I was like, don't ruin it for him. I'm already gonna see this square floating around here. But,
the set list thing is an interesting conversation, not to send us on a tangent, but like there are different ways to enjoy a show. And some people I think really enjoy knowing what's coming. And I am on this weird gradation because my wife and I talk about this all the time, because she'll be like, I can't believe you look at sets. And I'm like, I look at sets depending on how invested in the band I am, because I'm enough of a nerd that if Zach invites me to go see Bad Omens and I don't know any of Bad Omens music, I might want to like, cram like you would in college.
Sure.
Like I go and listen to the records and like listen to the set and make some playlists.
yeah.
But if I'm going to see my band, a band I'm really, really, really passionate about, I don't want to see anything. I don't want to know anything about the tour. I'm going to avoid videos until I see the tour, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I am as well. I don't really want to know anything before I see a band. I remember right before the first time I saw Limp Bizkit, some people had been like, "Oh, did you check the set list?" I'm like, "No, I'm not looking at anything." And then literally the guy I was going with posted the set list on my Facebook page that morning. Was like, "Check it out," and I was like, "No, get that out of here! I don't want to see that."
Yeah. I'm definitely with Brian on that. Like, if you don't like the band, looking up in advance makes sense as a way to kind of get a sense for like what material they're going to play. But to Lauren's point, like the guy with the iPad just pulling it out, like you're like, bro, like ruin your own life. Don't ruin everyone else. Right. Similar to another tangent, when people go to concerts and just talk super loud the whole time. And I'm like, there are much cheaper places to stand and talk. Like, can you just please go literally anywhere else? Like, sing along, sing out of key, sing off time, clap off time, dance like you don't know what you're doing. But just don't like have a long conversation about your babysitter's overcharging you and then your dog, lost its job. Like, no one cares. I'm sorry.
I'm a big and effusive personality, as I know you can tell, when it comes to live music, and I get really into it. And I do the woo thing, like the woo, between songs. But have you ever been behind or in front of an effusive wooer who's like drunk?
Yes.
I was at a drive-by trucker show, and there was a guy behind me who wouldn't stop. Like it was like every 30 seconds. And he wasn't thinking he was being annoying. Like, some people are like doing that because they're belligerently drunk. Like I think he was really into it, but his way of being into it was just to go, wow, regardless of the tempo or speed or sound or volume of the song that the drive-by truckers were playing. And, they got there's some variations in there, right? Some of them are rockers, but some of them aren't. And the whole time the guy is just like right in my ear going, every 15 seconds. And I was like, somebody's got to tell this guy to calm down. But I appreciate his spirit, but this is not good for any of us.
Yeah, it's no good. I not quite the same, but I went to see Sloan's Canadian band's my favorite. I saw them once in the basement of a hotel.
You want to fucking talk about Sloan? Oh my God.
Sloan,
okay,
baby.
anyway, sorry, finish this story.
Anyway, went to see them. They were in the basement of a hotel in Sioux, Canada. And a guy in front of us was drunk, and he kept leaning and falling on us. And every time we'd catch him, he'd turn and say, "It's my birthday." And it happened so many times. We're like, we know, and it's the worst day for us. I'm glad you're having a good time. Literally, every time you fall, it's my birthday. Yeah.
No, I posted on Facebook, I think at this point, probably like 8 or 9 years ago, but it comes up, once a year. And it said, the only thing worse than a woo girl is a woo guy. Because I've been in that same environment where a guy is yelling woo really, and they're like the projection and the volume of their voice is just like on a whole nother level. And I'm just like, you need to shut the fuck up, please, sir. It is not. I thought drunk girl at a concert, wooing was there's a whole nother level when it's a guy. It's so much worse.
So we're doing the two shows back to back. This is the first time you've ever done that. is this like maybe we'll keep doing it this way? We're trying it out. Is it just a thing of scheduling that we just felt that this way you knock them both out before the end of the year?
There's kind of a lot of thoughts going into it. One is everything we do is an experiment. So if it
Mhm.
doesn't go well, we won't
That's what I
do
was
it, or we'll
gonna
do it
say.
differently.
Yeah.
We're gonna learn.
Yeah, we're definitely not like McKinsey consultants with strategies, or we're very much flying by the seat of our pants on this. But it was kind of twofold. One was the Louder show was in September, and we knew we'd had to get ready for that, and that was around the time then when we'd done Nu-Metal in the past. We'd kind of done it like late summer, early fall,
Mhm.
and so it wasn't going to make sense to do those shows back to back. And then also like the set lists were so similar that we basically were either going to do it as that was essentially going to be Nu-Metal, and then we would just do emo in the winter. But then the more we thought about it, we're like, well, we've already prepared a lot of the material because there's both in both sets, and I'm already flying up from Texas, and we're already having to go to headliners. We just kind of looked at it and went, Brian mentioned this earlier, I hate to use like business terms, but economies of scale, like it's probably 10 or 20% more work to put on two shows than it is to put on one show.
Right.
Whereas when we put on two very independent, separate shows, even with all the same people and all the same stuff, it's twice as much work,
Mhm.
twice as much promotion, right? And so all that stuff. And so we were like, let's try to just do it all at once. And also, it's kind of an experiment that I don't know that we've mentioned yet. It will have been too late by the time this airs, but we did do a weekend pass as well. And so you can get tickets to both nights cheaper than buying them separately. And that was also a first time thing that we've done. So
we did the math on that. We pulled the numbers on the overlap, and the overlap was not super high, which was honestly pretty surprising to Zach and I, even though we knew it, because the audiences, just anecdotally, we would ask on stage and we would ask audiences, and a lot of people hadn't heard of the other show, right? Which was kind of interesting. I mean, I even saw somebody yesterday and I had the Louisville Loves Nu-Metal shirt on, and they're like, "Oh, is that like Louisville Loves Emo?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude." Like, and you come to Louisville Loves Emo. So, that has
like,
been
what the hell is Nu-Metal?
But we actually have built these two things that have kind of separate audiences. And so we're talking about everything being an experiment. We were like, if we put this pass on sale and we do the math ahead of time and look at the overlap from past ticket sales, we'll know roughly. And we are like within spitting distance of exactly the number we predicted that we were going to sell.
Wow.
Which is really interesting. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah,
really
it's also
exciting.
a lot of the same performers between the two nights as well. So that was part of it. Is some people are only doing one show or the other, but we wanted to really just kind of, again, the amount of work it takes to get together and practice at all, right?
Right.
You might have 1 4-minute song that you're singing, but to drive to practice, be there, hang out, wait for your turn, do a couple run throughs, like that's a couple hours worth of work. And it's like, if we could get 2 or 3 songs in that practice, it feels like a better value for the performers. And then the other thing too is Headliners is under new ownership. So we've been working with the original owners, this entire time. And this will be our first time working with the new owners. And so we also kind of wanted to just like show them what we're capable of, kind of like similar to what we did with the Louder Than Life stuff. That was our first time working with 4th Street and our first time working with the festival. And so we took it very seriously as kind of, we told our performers, like, this is probably a job interview disguised as a concert. Like, we all want to be involved in the main festival in some capacity in the future. That's really the goal, is like, can we get our own stage one day? And it's the local stage or whatever, the Louisville Love stage or LOP stage. But that's just putting that out there into the ether. But but yeah, so that's kind of another thing, is we just wanted to show Headliners, the new owners, what we're all about. We wanted to make it worth every performer's time, and we also just want to put on a kick-ass event for the audience. One other really kind of subtle thing. On the one hand, it is hard on some crowds to do 2 nights back to back, but one thing that's happened a lot in the past is we've always done our shows on Saturdays, and I have people who've told me for 8 years in a row, like, if you ever do it on a Friday, I'll come. Right? Because some people, like your work schedule, like some people can't do Fridays, some people can do Saturdays, right? And so while it may happen that the genre that you prefer is the opposite night or whatever, this also is different for us. We typically don't do Friday shows. So this also opens it up to where some people will be able to come that have never been able to come, friends and, friends of the show, friends of the performers, family, etc. So yeah, it's one big experiment, and hopefully it's going to go super well. And if it doesn't, we'll do it differently next time. But
one more really exciting thing is that this takes a lot of resources to pull off. We have put a lot of things on Zach's credit cards over the years. We are really excited that we have a sponsor of the entire weekend. Kentucky Hop Water has come aboard to be one of the official sponsors. They're going to sponsor both nights. You're going to see our performers drinking a lot of hop water on stage and off stage.
All right.
If you've not had it, go check it out. It is really, really delicious. Zach and I were just talking about this yesterday. Like even before they agreed to sponsor, I was like, man, that stuff is delicious. KentuckyHopWater.com. And we're thrilled that they've come aboard. They have been watching from afar and coming to the shows. And they just said, hey, I think this is a good fit now for us. And we also love to be able to offer something that's alcohol free to our performers. And I'm sure we'll have availability of it in the venue that night. Because more and more we have folks who are not drinking.
Sure.
And we, again, we try to be very inclusive in every way that we can with the show. And that's another easy way to be inclusive, is to say, hey, yeah, we'll make sure you get some of that hop water. It's really good.
All right. I'll have to try it out. Absolutely.
We'll make you do a corny ad read on stage and then chug the whole can by yourself.
Perfect. Great. I love it. Let's do it. Before we go, guys, I got to ask, we talk about it every time you have you on. Is the next step Louisville Loves Ska?
I knew exactly where this was going. I could feel it in my horns.
At this point, it's got to happen at some point. I can feel it in my checkered Vans. Like, there's got to be some way.
Too soon, Brian. Too soon on the Vans reference.
Of making this happen, for Lauren. There's got to be a way of. At this point, we have to do it at some point, Lauren. We have to. I don't know when we're going to do it, how we're going to do it. I will say, I don't know if they still do it, but shouts to Magbar, who occasionally does like a ska night on Mondays. Seems like a weird night to do it, but whatever gets people to the bar and skanking. Right. That's what I say.
Yeah, I'm not a big ska guy, but I am a former trombone player, so I have, some bit of connection there. And I went to a few ska shows in middle school gymnasiums, and saw the most wild comportment of bands, of groups of people, where it's like, listen, we don't have a bassist, but we got a tuba player and we're gonna make it happen.
That's all you need.
Yeah. So I feel like, there's a lot of talent around town that certainly would want to bring it down.
I might be able to reunite my high school talent show one-off band called Scatting Tiger, Skanking Dragon.
You've got to have it. Even if they don't play a note, as long as they just come out, we introduce them with that name, and then we like, that's it. Good night. Like that'd be great.
Maybe this is the ploy, that you're all going to show up at Headliners on December 5th, and instead of nu-metal, it's just going to be ska.
What a twist!
I can already see actually our future where the year is 2026. We're riding the high of what was the success of 2025, and we fly too close to the sun. And we do a 3-day festival. And the third day is Louisville Loves Ska. And similar to how the country festival didn't work out for the Louder Than Life Bourbon and Beyond trio, I think this will be our country festival where we flew maybe a little too close to the sun. But
I'm really excited at the long conference calls we're going to have about what qualifies as ska and which wave of ska we're honoring, and whether or not reggae is ska and ska is reggae. These are going to be great.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely what we need to spend more time doing.
Absolutely. Well, Brian, Zach, thank you so much for coming on the show, for talking about this, for putting these shows on. These are always a joy for me every year to come down and see them. True heart, true love on the stage and in the audience, and you can really feel it. Always great vibes. Always great vibes. And
you are now responsible for some of those vibes on Friday.
The vibes are off. Everyone gets to blame you.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm going to have to continue those great vibes, as I will be hosting Louisville Loves Nu-Metal December 5th at Headliners Music Hall. Be there, be square. We'd love to see you there. And of course, head on over December 6th for Louisville Loves Emo. Of course, go online, go on Instagram, the LLP Instagram. Make sure you're following it for all the updates. And otherwise, I guess we'll see you guys in the pit.
I do have one last call to action.
Yes.
For your audience.
Mm-hmm.
Which Slipknot mask should Lauren wear at some point on stage when he's emceeing? So put your favorite era and member of. I feel like there's got to be at least one of your MC sessions has to be in full costume.
I feel like my audience knows who my favorite is, so I think they'll say the right person. So I don't know.
But no, don't take that into account at all.
Okay,
What do you guys want to see? This is for you. This is not for him.
Listen, we got some of that Kentucky Hopwater money now, so we're like,
okay,
Slipknot mask for everybody.
As long as it is an unofficial, not branded, not sanctioned, like it has to be the Temu version of the Slipknot mask.
Okay, all right, yeah. So like a bunch of needles coming out of my head. All right,
exactly. Hellraiser.
Yeah, it's Hellraiser / metal band is what it's called in the.
I love
package.
it. Perfect. All right, I love this. I'm into masks. All right. Thanks, guys.
See you, mask guys, later.
Well, Matt.
Hey, buddy.
How about it? I'm hosting.
I love those guys. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, love Brian, love Zach. I'm glad they were able to take time to chat with me. Matt, you were unable to join. Though we didn't mention this before we dove in. You have been so busy, you weren't able to sit in for the chat.
No, I missed it.
But you gave me your blessing, said to go in and chat with the boys. And yeah, the big news out of that, along with this incredible show, is that I am hosting.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very excited. I am a little nervous, but it's mostly just excitement. It's excitement for
hey, as somebody who's been doing this with you for 9 years, let me toot your horn a little bit and give you an old well-earned.
Thank you.
Absolutely. The other part of me goes, about time. I would have had you if I had a new metal festival, Lauren. You're up there on stage day 1.
Oh, thank you, Matt.
But I'm putting you in your least favorite Slipknot, man. I'm giving you the drummer mask.
The drummer mask. That is my least favorite. Second only
or
to
Tortilla Man.
Well, actually, my least favorite is that terrible mask that Corey had a couple years ago. Remember that
one?
Oh,
the one that was like the Fan of the Opera one.
Yeah, that was didn't like that one. Yeah. That was longtime listeners will know that was from one of our really good episodes where we talked exclusively about masks you could not see because this is a purely
mask talk.
Yeah. So
the funny thing about that mask is with that mask, when it is used for something very serious and disfiguring to heal that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in practice with Slipknot, it falls in the too clever category. Whereas other masks Corey has worn are pretty straightforward, right to the punch.
Right, exactly. Give us the one with the dreads.
Give me Scarecrow with dreads, right?
Yeah, Scarecrow dreads, or that one where he's got the close crop. I'm fine with the close crop one as well.
It's cool.
Yeah, but the see-through, that other thing, not interested. Oh, and then of course the rip open face one from Volume 3.
Great,
always a great mask. Well, yeah. Well, you're gonna have to get down to Headliners Music Hall, December 5th. I'm hosting. There's going to be a ton of bands and a ton of great performers doing incredible nu metal music for you. I haven't even seen the list. I was teased, but I was like, I want to be surprised too. So I'm very excited. I think it's going to be exciting. And apparently I'm going to be wearing a Slipknot mask at some point. So come on down, say hello, get in the pit, get some drinks. It's going to be great. I'm very, very excited. Yeah.
Speaking about getting on down,
Matt.
Yeah, boy.
Matt, you were boots on the ground at not just any venue, the Machine Shop in Flint, Michigan, but not just any show. It was
the show of shows.
The show of shows. Primer 55 with Smile Empty Soul. And then on top of that, Matt, I understand that you got +1. Did you get guest listed, Matt?
Oh, I did get +1.
Wow.
All right, so let's rewind the time machine. Josh was nice enough to come on the show prior to the tour. I joked a lot about being +1, and then like a week before the show, I did text him and I was like, "Hey, I don't know how to do this, but am I on the list for the Machine Shop show? He's like, yeah, yeah, you've been on the list for the Machine Shop show. I'm like, thank you so much, Josh. You're a true gentleman. I get out there and I'd never been to the Machine Shop. This is my first time going.
Mhm.
Meet Josh outside. We shoot the shit. It was the kickoff for the show. Bobby Burns was not feeling well, so he was kind of MIA. Other guys were out kind of working the crowd or checking into their stuff. But Josh and I were able to hang out for quite a while. I'd put out the APB that I would be there and stop by and say hi if you're a Roach rider around. And Josh and I went in. He was nice enough to take my picture in the world famous
Mhm.
Machine Shop hallway. Let me just tell you, the door that's behind you is the door to outside. It is as small of a hallway as you can imagine. I love employee only doors because in pictures and things like that, you think it is just like this enormous space. Oh, the luxury. No, it goes to a broom closet on one side, kind of like a sitting room on the other, and the other one is get the fuck out of here. So cool to get that. Josh and I are talking, and in through the door walks a Roach rider, and he's wearing a Roach Coach shirt, and I totally recognize him. And I go to Josh, I've got to say hello. And Josh was like, yeah, of course, he's wearing a Roach Coach shirt. It's Dan fucking Musselman.
Dan Musselman, baby. The OG, the first person to ever stop Jenny and I at anything. He stopped us at Corn. And here's a full circle moment for you, Matt. The reason that you were backstage at that show is because of Dan Musselman. Did you know this?
I didn't know this until you told me, so kayfabe.
Mm.
But tell us why.
Dan Musselman found Jenny and I at Return of the Dreads in 2017. 2016, 2017. And he was like, love the pod. You should do all these bands. But the band he kept coming back to was Primer 55. He said, you got to do Primer 55. And I can say that Primer was not initially on the long list, but he was so emphatic about it that we did it, as longtime listeners will know, back at episode 25 was Primer 55. We did them on the show. Doing them on the show then led to one Josh Toomey to find us and message us. And now here we are, almost 10 years later. And Primer's back together. Matt, you're backstage at a Primer show.
Wild.
And yeah, Dan Musselman in a way got this all going. So I was very thrilled to see that Dan had found you and you got to take some pics with Dan. That's wonderful. Did he have any recs for you this time?
Buddy, I wrote a couple notes.
Okay.
So Dan, by the way, just ebullient, of a spark of sunshine.
Mhm.
Just an absolute fucking delight to see him, hang out with him for a while, and just kind of get into his headspace about Primer. He was so excited that Primer was coming around. He had his original Primer shirt with him. He was like super duper fucking stoked to be there, which was awesome. He would love for us to entertain doing a B-sides episode.
Okay.
Because there's Corn B-sides, Limp Bizkit B-sides, Deftones B-sides all over the shop that
Okay.
we haven't done. He suggested Project Kush, which I feel like we've talked about.
Project Kush. Okay.
And then he suggested an album by Morbid Angel. He said it's their new metal album and it sounds a lot like Static X. And I was like, I'm writing these down. Remember, I was in a rock club and doing the fucking best I could.
Well, you know what? I do love the idea of doing a B-sides episode of some kind, because as we know, there is a Deftones B-sides record.
Yes.
that we haven't done. And certainly, I mean, we've covered a decent amount of Korn B-sides just for bonus tracks and what have you. Now I know, and I know there's a lot of people probably yelling and screaming right now in regards to Limp Bizkit B-sides, that there is various versions
Yes.
of Limp Bizkit B-side records and obscurities that floating around the internet under different names. Some are called The Unquestionable Truth Part 2. Some are labeled Stampede of the Disco Elements. One that I downloaded back in the day was called Smelly Beaver.
Yes. I remember
Yes.
that.
So I have that. So that there's a lot of options. We could do a Smelly Beaver app. You never know, baby. 10 years of the coach. About time we do Smelly Beaver.
Or just mix it up. Maybe just mix it up.
Mix it up. We have a lot of options. So I love all these recs and I just love now. Okay, so you're there. Toomey's getting everything pumped. You're backstage. You're being recognized, as they like to say.
Very cool.
And then the show starts.
Yes. So Primer gets out there. They were second. Unfortunately, I don't quite remember the first band. Very entertaining. And at the same time, I'm sorry. Primer gets on, and it is a different energy. They are bringing it. Sound crisp. Drums sound great. Bass sounds great. Guitar sounds great. Vocals sound great. Locked the fuck in, dude. Really good. Where's your boy?
Mm-hmm.
Literally in the fucking pit.
Yes.
It's literally in the pit for this one. Machine Shop, number one, first and foremost.
Mhm.
What a great venue.
Right?
Absolutely incredible. What a staff. Like, you can tell how much they fucking care. Like, it's weird. Like, the bar staff weren't shitty. They were joking around, but still were like a rock and roll bar staff. I don't know if that makes sense, but like,
Right. No. I
it
get it. Yeah.
they're dialed in, they're doing their job. Don't fuck around, but also they can fuck around a little bit.
Yeah.
Like that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I went outside, I got some tacos from the taco truck. That was delicious. There's a guy giving out free hugs. Wonderful. The primer set, the sound was great. I was able to get some earplugs. Fantastic. Did not interfere with the sound. Yeah, the big fuck you went off. Went off. Just people went nuts. Like I said, loose hit. Like pretty much they played all of Introduction to Mayhem.
Mhm.
Like not really anything from the other albums. This was truly a Introduction to Mayhem tour. And yeah, it was awesome. It was just great. And yeah, I got pushed around a little bit. Haven't had that in a while. I jumped up and down a little bit. That was fun. Yeah, I haven't been in a pit forever. And then immediately got the sickest I've been in fucking years, bro. Oh, somebody got me. It is what it is. I will say that Smile Empty Soul may not be my cup of tea, but people were fucking there for them, which is great. That's what you want. The night went off without a hitch. Said goodbye to Josh a little bit early because it was an extra hour to get home. And I didn't really feel like getting home at 1 because I'm an old ass man. I got things to do. I
Absolutely.
got things to do. But wonderful night, shows, hospitality out the wazoo. So nice to see Josh and just seeing the shows from the road and the pictures that they've been taking from the tour. Looks like it's been going great. And just like he said on the show, he said to me after the show, he goes, Matt, when I was touring with this band, it was like 7 people to see us. The like, I hate to say it, but it was almost like everybody was done. So then to kind of come back and we did this is still me as Josh. We did that small little circuit and ended in Texas. It was like, what the fuck is happening?
Packed out. Yeah.
It we're back, baby.
Yeah.
And to see the Machine Shop go and like people were there for Primer big time. Picked up some merch. I got the Introduction to Mayhem album cover, but I got it in black and white. just because I prefer, even
Mhm.
though the color one, if anybody knows a screen printer like Mitch, he would be like, expensive t-shirt, lots of colors on that. I'm fucking cheap and I like the black and white one personally.
Yeah,
I
for
just
sure.
did. So no, they ripped. Dan Musselman was great. Josh Toomey is a gentleman and a scholar. Primer's coming. If Primer is coming around, you got to check it out. I'm interested to see the interview with Garza that Primer does. And
Yeah.
yeah, just pretty much kind of funny to have that full circle moment, because when you told me about it, I was like, no way. No way. Dan Musselman's here. And he's like, do Primer. And then Josh finds us. And now I'm on the guest list for Primer 55. Something I never in my life would have been like, yeah, those are words I'm going to
Yeah.
say.
It's
And
it
I'm
is.
going to know
Yeah.
exactly what they mean and
Mhm.
know the people attached to them. Like,
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, it is that thing, Matt, when you think about it, it's like we always talk about what would you do with the time machine? And it's like one thing we could do is go back in time and make your head explode by just like popping out and going, hey, it's me from the future. You've met Fred Durst. You're going to go backstage to Primer. That's all I got right now. Bye.
Unbelievable. You're going to host a new metal show for almost 10 years.
Mhm.
And it shows no sign of stopping.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, man. I just feel very grateful to be in this position with the fans that have suffered me on this journey and wanted me to come along for the ride. And now that I'm kind of bathing in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, it's pretty sweet, dude. It was really cool. It was really cool. Not lost on me, I guess.
Not lost on Matt. So yeah, if you are at a show in the future and you see Matt Nas, you gotta say hello. You gotta say what up. You gotta
I'll
dap
be
him up.
so fucking grateful to see you.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, we have a couple other things before we close out this episode of Roach Coach. I want to touch briefly as this episode goes up. You, me, the world will have in our ears a new My Ticket Home album.
I'm so excited about this.
This is crazy. Our episode went up, our delayed episode. We're like, oh, these 4 songs are great. And they're like, album coming 2 weeks. Let's go. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. So my understanding is, yeah, if I have my dates right, this episode's going to go up. The album will be out. I'm super hyped for it. Can't wait to hear it. The boys are back.
Boys are back.
Boys are back. And finally, Matt, there is only one way to close out an episode of Roach Coach.
Certainly.
And that is with Rippers for Roaches 2.
Yeah, I've seen a roach.
Matt, what do we have on the list this week?
Oh man, we have really gone through it, but I feel a little lost in the sauce as to where we are. I feel like the last one we did was Destructo by Hunt the Dinosaur.
I believe that is correct.
So now we have a French name of which I will not be able to pronounce, but I'll give it my best. La Morale de la Fable by Seidel Larson. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I don't know anything about what he's saying, though.
No, definitely not. But I kind of liked that it was a little System of a Down,
A little bit.
a little Linkin Parky,
Mm-hmm.
a little fun. I liked it. I listening to that just makes me go, the moment I think I know music, like I know a good number of bands, I just get swept up in the undercurrent of like, no, there's 7 trillion bands.
There's so many more bands doing so many more noises and weird things you couldn't even imagine. And this is one of them. So thank you so much, Chad Radical, for sending that over to us. The list continues on. But that does mean that we are at the end of another episode of Roach Coach. Thank you so much for listening. Keep on saying hello to us online: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Blue Sky. We're on all of those. Send us an email, roachcoachpodcast@gmail.com with your recs and your ideas. Head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/roachcoachpodcast. The crack is ongoing. Matt and I are really, really in it. As this episode goes up, episode 6 of The Crack will be live. Bands we talk about in this episode include
Creed.
Pop Evil,
And then
Here-
2 other guys.
Theory of a Dead Man,
Oh, that's right. Theory.
and
Isn't this-
Crossfade. Yes, Theory. We talk about Theory. So if you've been waiting for us to talk about Theory,
Oh, breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news.
yeah, Matt.
I got in my car today.
Mhm.
89X was on.
Yes,
What did I hear?
you heard some fucking Theory.
Our Lady.
Our Lady.
I got in my I got in my car. I started it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Superman is dead.
89X is back, baby. They're
Dude,
playing.
it is so back.
I love hearing this. Well, I'm gonna be visiting soon, and I'm definitely gonna tune the old. I'm gonna figure out how the radio works in my car because I've never used
Number
it.
1.
Yeah, and I'm gonna see what's going on with 89X. I'm
I
excited.
love it. I love it.
All right. Well, yeah, and of course, December 5th, Nu-Metal, the Nu-Metal Night, Headliners Music Hall, Louisville, Kentucky, 8 p.m. A bunch of great bands, a bunch of great musicians doing exciting nu metal covers you're gonna love, and it's gonna be hosted by me, motherfuckers. So I want to see you there.
Can't
All
wait,
right.
dude.
Alrighty. So until next time, Matt, thank you.
Lauren, thank you. Roach Riders and Indigo Angels. Thank you.
You did it, Matt. You did it.
We did it, buddy.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.